Good morning. This is Christy. Good morning. Good morning. This is Christy Childs. And I haven't been online for about a week. I've had family visiting, I've had birthday parties, and all kinds of fun. But I'm here and I've been thinking about all week while I was away from YouTube because I love the channel and I love to teach what I would be teaching about today. And I'm going to do two videos. And the first one, this one, I want to tell you why most people make zero sales, why other Etsy shops are absolutely booming. And I'm learning this as I'm building a second shop, and I'm in a specific niche. So I decided, there's so many ideas when you go inside of Etsy and you start looking around. It's so hard. You want to do this niche, you want to do children's niche, you want to do, women's t-shirts, men's t-shirts. I mean, there are so many things you could do on Etsy. Is just crazy, absolutely crazy. And I see I've got 4 people here. Hi, how are you? Say hello to me. I can see you in the chat. And please put your questions there and I'll be happy to help you. And what I want to tell you about is the reason most people make zero sales is they quit too soon. Do you know that your brain, hi, how are you? Lord Ahab from England. Nice to see you again. Most people quit too soon, okay? They either go into a niche that's too competitive, and or they don't get niche specific. And I have a general store, but the general store that I began with gave me some ideas of niches that do sell. And it also taught me how to do keyword research, okay? So you have to stay with it like a dog with a bone, right? Your brain is going to talk you out of it. And your brain is going to tell you that there's already thousands of Etsy shops, and there are. And why should I do this? Well, the reason you should do this is if you have one little creative bone in your body and you know how to cut and paste, then you can actually take images that are already done for you that you can buy on graphic websites. Even inside of Etsy, there are so many PNGs for sale. And what you do is you just go into Etsy search bar and you put in PNG transparent commercial. And you have to find the PNGs that are transparent because those are the ones you can upload to print on demand sites. And number 2, you have to be sure they have commercial usage, because now some of the graphic artists on Etsy are saying, I'm not going to allow any of my stuff on Printful. That's fine. There are plenty that do. And so what I want to get across to you today is the reason a lot of people make zero sales. Good job. I'm glad you sold a PNG bundle. That's awesome. Good for you. That's great. I'm really glad to hear that. And the reason most people just make zero sales is they give up, or they go into a niche that they think is wonderful. If I think underground, looking for worms underground is an awesome niche, but only 2 other people on the planet think it is too and want to wear a t-shirt about it, then I'm the only one that's going to ever search for, how to find worms underground. You have to find out first what is selling. And in my next video, I'm going to make in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you where to go. It's a free keyword tool to show you what is selling online, okay? And what the top shops are selling today and what they sold yesterday, because you don't want to reinvent the wheel. You can be creative and put your own spin on it, but you don't want to recreate the wheel. People like what they like. They buy what they buy. So, what you want to do is you want to find out, what do they like? What are they buying? And how are they buying it? And then take a look at the shops that are selling it. And you want to see how to brand yourself. It's really easy to buy a mock-up on Etsy. You can go in there and put t-shirt mock-up, and then go into PicMonkey and take that mock-up and put your image on there and make sure they're all like that in your shop. And your shop would look like $1 million. And you can charge more because you look like a brand. You don't look like a Walmart, okay? Or you don't look like a flea market. Walmart is branded. but I should have said flea market. You don't look like a flea market, right? You don't look like a flea market where you can buy anything of any kind, of any color, of shoes and belts and buckles. But instead, you found out what your crowd likes. You know your customer. And so you're going to put in front of your customer what you know is already selling. That's the key. First of all, don't talk yourself out of it, because your brain's going to say, why should I do that? Everybody else is doing it. Well, there are millions of buyers on Etsy, absolutely millions. And I listened to the podcast from Etsy's CEO the other day, and he said that because they're going to charge a higher fee every time you make a sale, and they're going to charge a little bit of your shipping, but they're going to turn around and take that money and they're going to help us, the sellers, by doing massive PR campaigns, okay? And they haven't really outlined the details of exactly what that looks like. I've heard rumors about a TV show. I'm not sure what the advertising looks like, but I have begun to see a lot of Etsy advertisements everywhere I go on the internet, partly because they're retargeting me with ads because they know I'm on the platform and I'm a buyer and a seller. So the first thing you want to do is remember, don't talk yourself out of doing this. If this is something that appeals to you, the reason Etsy is such a great place to start with your online shop is because it's built-in marketplace with built-in buyers. You don't have to pay. You can do the advertisement inside of Etsy, but you don't have to. You can actually put up a free Etsy shop. It costs you 20 cents to list it. And until somebody buys it, you pay nothing. And even when somebody does buy it, you pay out. They put that money into your bank account within 24 hours on a business day. It has to be Monday through Friday. They'll put that money into your account, and then, only then, do you have to go into your print-on-demand company and order the item. So that's the wonderful thing. Unlike other platforms like Amazon, if you were to put your article on Amazon as a mock-up and you sold thousands, then you'd have to be able to order that up front. And, you might not have $50,000 in the bank. So the great thing is about Etsy is you get paid up front and then you order the item on a print-on-demand site. Okay, so that is what I wanted to tell you today is don't think yourself out of being an Etsy shop owner. Don't think yourself out of it. Number 2, do your keyword research. Find out what people are looking for. There are free keyword tools like keywordseverywhere.com that you can download for free inside your Chrome extension, and it will tell you exactly how many people a month are looking for, say, a cat t-shirt, a dog t-shirt. But you want to break that down into long phrases so you're not competing with 100,000 shops. You want to do something more specific, like a cute Chihuahua t-shirt, and go into a keyword tool called Etsy Rank, and you can look up cute Chihuahua t-shirt and see what the searches are per month and what the competition is. The people who are winning on Etsy are the people who know what I'm telling you right now. They know how to do their keyword research. It's 100 times more powerful to get in front of the people who are already looking to buy. Remember, people aren't coming into Etsy just for information's sake. They're coming in with their wallets or their PayPal, and they're looking to buy something for the baby's first communion at church, or something, their pet, they've lost their pet and they're looking for a bereavement pet necklace, or they're looking for, I'm a big sister t-shirt, or, my best aunt is my best friend. And a lot of what people are looking for is based on emotion. I teach that a lot because we are impulse buyers. People buy on impulse. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to be sure that you're hitting on two cylinders. You're hitting on their interest, number one, and number two, you're hitting on something personal that is passionate to them. Maybe it's their grandchild, or maybe it's a daughter's parent and they're about to become a grandparent. Those things are huge on Etsy because remember, it's a mostly female demographic. Okay. And that's okay. And we females, we buy on impulse and we buy a lot. And we buy a lot of stuff. I've bought all week long on Etsy. I have grandbabies. I bought an outfit. I'm a buyer and a seller. So I had the mentality of both. I put myself in the buyer's mindset and wonder, okay, if I were looking at my shop, would I buy this? Why? Why not? What's the price difference? But you want to be making a profit. So to make a profit, you have to stand out amongst your competition. And most importantly, you do not talk yourself out of being an Etsy shop owner, because really, I think it is, if you're putting up a free shop, think about it. You're putting up images. You're not having to, go into your garage, in your bedroom or your closet, and you're not having to store boxes, because I have a family member and she does this. She stores boxes and twines and cards and labels, and she has to go to the post office every day. And it's great. She's got a great business on Etsy that she's built up over the last 2 years. But the thing is, with print on demand, you don't have to stock boxes. You don't have to figure out, how much is this going to cost me to mail? And you don't have to go to the post office. And, considering we now live on the lake in a rural area, I have to go 30 miles to the post office. And, I don't have to do that with print on demand. All I do is I take the money that, came into my Etsy account, and I go into either Gear Bubble or Printful, and I go in and I order the item. It is so super easy. And I'm now using Gear Bubble for my coffee mugs, and I'm using Printful for the clothing that I'm putting on Etsy. And you want to remember, right now, you're watching this video, it's July. December is coming. Before that, you've got Halloween, you got Thanksgiving, and you got Christmas. So you're about to come into the biggest selling buying frenzy online that there is. So if you don't have an Etsy shop up, you want to get it up and running like pronto, like yesterday. Okay, so I want to invite you. I would love it if you would like and share this video. It helps me grow my channel, and love for you to just subscribe and stop by anytime. My former life before becoming an entrepreneur, I was a teacher. I taught first grade, and then I taught college kids. And so I really love to teach. And, working online can be lonely. So you people, you are my people. And I'm so glad to be here with you. And I'm going to read some of the comments. Let's see. You're selling Etsy jewelry is easier than Etsy print on demand. Yep. And you can do jewelry through Gear Bubble print on demand, selling more in my other Etsy shops. But if print on demand takes off, that would be much more fun than selling antiques, vintage, and jewelry. Right. I was a games programmer for Xbox and PlayStation. Oh, that is super cool. Very cool background. I'm glad you shared that with us. Yes, I'm telling you, if you can figure out a niche in print on demand, all you do is yesterday I probably spent about 4 hours researching inside of Etsy. And because I set up a new shop and I wanted to brand it with just one specific niche, and I wanted to brand it with one item, because I found that this particular item, I don't want to give it away because I don't want to create competition, and I'm just getting this second shop started. But the reason I started this shop is because after doing research, I found out, oh my gosh, this one phrase, this 2-word phrase is getting searched 50,000 times a month. 50,000 times a month. Okay, so can you find a niche? And you can, if you go into Google Keyword Planner. I was going to do a second video, but I might just do this one and just keep on talking because more people are joining us. But if you go into, if you sign in to Google AdWords with your Gmail account, okay, then you go into this little, it looks like a wrench. It's a little tool, and find their Keyword Planner tool. It's completely free. Okay, so go in there and start putting in, items that you can fulfill with print-on-demand companies. Now with Printful, and again, I use Gear Bubble too, you can do pillowcases. With Printful, you can actually do throw pillows. Throw pillows is a huge, huge niche online. Sells thousands of dollars a month, okay? So there's a golden tip for you. So, and then there are graphic sites where you can actually go in and just buy the images and pop them in there on Printful, and Printful loads it up to your Etsy shop. It is so cool. They've integrated. So people are still asking, is Etsy okay with that? Etsy's not only okay with that, and thank you for that like, I appreciate it. Etsy has integrated their platform with Printful.com, but you can manually add other print-on-demand companies. You just have to acknowledge that inside your listing, there's a little box, or there's a spot where you add your print-on-demand company or your production partner. It might be something else, but and then you just go in every time you do an item and you check Printful. That's it. That's all you do. And but again, you don't talk yourself out of this. I'm telling you. Just think. Imagine with me, okay, if your profit margin was $5 to $10, let's say $10, because it's easier for me to do math with $10, and you made 1,000 sales at Christmas, okay, you have made a tidy little sum, because we're about to come into the fourth quarter of the year where people really buy online. Amazon is exploding like crazy cakes. Okay. And brick and mortar stores are closing down all around us. And why is that? It's because newer generations are buying online. And even people in our generation are buying online because it's easier. I used to wonder, why would anyone go to the trouble, back when I first found Amazon associate program, and I was putting up websites and doing videos with Amazon associate links. But the reason I stopped doing that is because unless you can get someone through your Amazon associates link, it's only 6%. 6% is all it pays. So you might make a buck or two, unless you have a really high price item on Amazon. So that's when I started looking for other business models. Okay. And I sell my courses, and I learned how to do video marketing. And then I watched my daughter-in-law quit her teaching job because of her Etsy shop. And when she did that, I'm like, wow. I said, Britt, okay, what are you doing? I have an Etsy shop, but mine's only made a few sales. And so she started showing me and giving me tips. And I started giving her SEO tips about keywords. And she has done very well. And we talk and we share strategies and tips. And I'm so proud of her. And here's the secret too. She picked a niche where there's a huge amount of search volume. Again, that is so, so crucial. Okay. You don't want to pick a niche on Etsy that only has like 300 searches a month, because it is so much harder to make sales if you're only got like one person a month that might find your item. But when you find something, and you can find it in the Google keyword tools, go in there and just start looking around at niches like, fireman t-shirts, police t-shirts. And then within each of these niches, you can actually break it down to a long tail keyword phrase. There's actually a sub niche it's called the thin blue line with policemen. There's a sub niche in the military of, think about all the wives all over the world whose husbands are in the military, and they have season where they're called, they're deployed, where they're sent off overseas through the military. Well, there's a whole niche on Etsy with children's t-shirts and parents t-shirts that are saying, get out of the way, my dad is coming home today. I remember one of my first t-shirts I sold on Gear Bubble was it was a set of dog tags, and it was military wife, military girlfriend. And so, I mean, there's just thousands of ideas. And you think, well, if, Christy, you're telling everybody right now about this, but the point is, most people will never do anything with what I'm telling you right now. And number two, there's so many searches online for these huge niches that, if 10,000 people went in, there's still room. There's still room at the top for you. There's still room at the top for your shop. Okay, so you want to set up your Etsy shop like now. I mean, like right now. Because like, again, I said, it's about to be Halloween. Before Halloween, it's about kids are going back to school. There's a whole back to school niche. Think about it, okay? I'm a former teacher. We wore t-shirts every Friday. It was like, so this is an idea for teachers. On Friday, it was jeans day where we didn't have to dress up to come to school as a teacher. And so on jeans day, of course, you're going to wear a t-shirt, right? And teachers, we love to wear these little cute shirts, that say, I'm a kindergarten teacher, or, field day. I mean, there's always in school, there's hundreds of things you can do for teachers. Or, you can wear a shirt that a parent bought you that says, my favorite teacher. And you think, well, most of those sell because they have people's names on them. Yes and no, you can do both. You can do it without putting any names on it. But inside both Printful and Gear Bubble, once you've sold the shirt and someone says, please put Mrs. Smith's name on it, then what you do is you go in and you do that same mock-up of that shirt, and then there's a little box for text, and you would put in there Mrs. Smith, and then you would order that particular shirt for Mrs. Smith. Okay. And then think about back to school with preschool, back to school with toddlers, back to school college kids. My niece is going back to school for college. And there's all kinds of funny sayings that you can put on t-shirts. You can put it on coffee mugs. My first shop is mostly coffee mugs. And the ones that sell the best are the funny ones. The ones that you look at and you go, oh my gosh, I got to get that for my nephew. Oh, that's my brother-in-law to a T. And I'll give you an example. Remember, you want to evoke emotion. And here's a great example. There's a saying going around Etsy and Pinterest, and it's, I work to pay for and you can put your dog breed names in there. I work to pay for my Yorkie's lifestyle. I mean, people love that. If you go into Facebook and you look up Yorkie group, Yorkie fan pages, those people, and I say those people, I was one of those people. I used to have Yorkies a long time ago. They're like our babies. They're like family. Seriously. And they have vet bills. So that saying resonates with those pet owners. So pets are a huge niche. And remember, you don't want to do like, you don't just want to say in your keywords, you don't want to say dog t-shirt. Okay. You'll never rank for dog t-shirt until probably 20 years from now. So what you want to do is you want to sub-niche it. You want to find like, my son and daughter-in-law have a dog, and she's half beagle and half pug, and she's called a puggle. And then there's the breeds that are half Yorkies and half poodles, and they're called Yorkie poos. I've made over $3,000 selling on just cute little, really ugly videos when I first got started online. making videos for how to house train a Yorkie poo. How did I even know that was a thing? I went into the Google AdWords keyword tool and I found out that there were at least 100 people a month looking for how to house train a Yorkie poo. Okay, so you've got all these breeds, all these sub breeds. If you spent tonight and just went into Etsy and started, start in Google Keyword Tool and look up dog breeds and then just start going down, you'll just find hundreds of ideas. Then take those, like say Yorkie poo t-shirt, go into Etsy and put in the search bar Yorkie, Yorkie poo or Puggle t-shirts, and you're going to find a whole community of people who are buying t-shirts, kids, babies' bodysuits, pillowcases. It's just crazy. There's just an endless amount of ideas, but you have to actually do it. You have to actually implement these ideas. So first of all, talk yourself into putting up your Etsy shop before this Christmas. Number two, be smart, work smart, not harder, and go into Google Keyword Planner and find out what people are looking for. Number three, go into Etsy and make sure you have an idea of what is selling. And what you do is you go into the shop name and you can click on it and you can see how many sales they made. Go to their reviews and see if people are buying in that niche, in that dog breed or whatever it is. And then you can go into Etsy or PicMonkey and make your own text design, or you can buy an image, okay? If you want to know more, because that is probably, I've been talking for 26 minutes and your head's probably spinning. You're probably ready to go into Google AdWords and find those niches, which I hope you do right now. Go in there and find them. They're waiting for you. Please give me a like and subscribe. And below there is a link to register for our webinar that we did, a workshop. And love to have you join us on the workshop. You get a free PDF just for watching the replay. Okay, so sign up for the webinar below. I hope you have an awesome day, and thank you so much for coming. I'll see you next time. Bye now.